G'day, my name is Braden. I'm a former member of the PBCC, also known as the Exclusive Brethren, which is a high control group controlled by an Australian businessman named Bruce D. Hales. The PBCC is best known for a strict doctrine of separation, which means that people in the church cannot have to do with their former members, even members of their own family. This has obviously been controversial and has led to a long-time association with suicide, both of current members and former members, which continues. To help offset some of the criticism, the church in around 2014 set up a public charity called RRT, Rapid Relief Team. RRT has seen a fair amount of criticism and controversy itself. I'm not going to restate all of that, but I felt that it might be worth just reading out a couple of posts and putting in some context to them of what the church actually may feel about these topics. So here's a post by RRT UK. At Hinkley Point C, mental health is taken seriously. With 2 workers in the construction industry committing suicide each day, RRT joined forces with mental health charities at Hinkley Point C's Mental Health Zero Harm Week. Our team served over 1,000 coffees and Krispy Kreme donuts, creating a welcoming space for construction workers to connect and break the silence on suicide and talk openly about mental health. RRT cares, hashtag. Here's another post in a similar vein. RRT Australia posts, today marks Are You OK Day, where we are inspired to connect with others and start a conversation with someone who may be struggling. Are You OK Any Day is a non-profit suicide prevention organisation, and RRT is supporting events to help increase people's willingness to start a conversation. Serving over 1,700 meals across 8 events, here are some highlights from the day. Are You OK Any Day, RRT Cares, etc., etc. There are a lot of posts by RRT in that vein, and as I said, I'm not going to say that they're hypocritical or anything else, and indeed I'd be the last person to criticise a movement to try to make mental health and suicide something that can be talked about. I do, however, wish to highlight some of the church's deeds and its actions do not align, in my view. And to highlight that, I might just read out some ministry, some authoritative words of Bruce D. Hales. It's actually been described as prophetic ministry. This is in 2015, and I think it's relevant. These words are not published to the wider public. They're not put on social media feeds, but this is what the church says behind closed doors. So this is in a meeting in the United Kingdom, and a person speaks up and says to Mr. Hales, we have a young person staying with us currently who we're trying to get help for, and we're concerned about his contact with someone who's under discipline and opposed. We just feel the need to go very carefully, but we don't want to compromise, Mr. Hales. Can you help, please? And Mr. Hales responds. There's a series of to and fro's. The person is described to be 25 years old, and they're described to have trouble with his mind, his way of thinking, but has he got what you'd call mind trouble? And the individual states that, yes, Mr. Hales, he has indeed. He's in what would appear to be torment at times. And Mr. Hales ultimately says, well, if he's having links with persons that are under discipline or opposed, that's the poison, that's the rotten poison. And he goes on about poison for some time. He said, the trouble with your fellow is that he's got poisoned. He might as well get a shot of, what's the best thing to kill you quickly? Mr. Ken, do you know anything about these things? What's the stuff? Cyanide. No, not cyanide. Somebody interjects to say arsenic. Arsenic. How do you get arsenic into you? Swallow a bottle of... There's a brother up here, he's interested, this guy with the white hair. Arsenic, is that rat poison? Sorry, you. You know much about arsenic? No, this brother here in the 3rd row. You're not Nappet, are you? Is he a Nappet? Mr. Nappet says, yes, that's right. And Mr. Hales says, tell us, what do you know about poison? Mr. Knappett says, I think cyanide is pretty horrible, isn't it? Didn't the Germans put it in their teeth or something to commit suicide? Yes, says Mr. Hales. They used to have it on their buttons. I don't know whether the Allies ever did that. Probably didn't. They used to have it on their buttons on their uniforms. They could take it quickly. Pretty gutless way of going, but... And then he continues about suicide for another couple of pages, and why persons should commit suicide rather than have any contact with a former member of the church. I won't bore you with it all, but here's some concluding words from Mr. Hales. I was going to say, he'd be better to take arsenic. Go and get some rat poison or something. Take a bottle of it. Now, I'm not advocating him doing that, but you might, as that would be better to finish yourself off that way than having to do with opponents of the truth. And that's the type of message that was then printed and circulated to all 55,000 members of the church. And in the years since, I believe there's been numerous suicides both within and without the PBCC, and some of which it's reasonable to surmise may have been caused in part or may relate in part to this ministry and other times that Mr. Hales has advocated killing yourself. Now, this particular piece of ministry, which is also known as the suicide ministry or the rat poison ministry, means a lot more to me personally because I'm the young man that was spoken about. I'm the person that was told to commit suicide. And when I later, 4 years later, concluded that Mr. Hales was no man of God, I was excommunicated from the church and have had no contact with my family ever since. So, in that context, I find posts like this, where ROT boasts to be supporting events to help increase people's willingness to start conversation about suicide and mental health. Well, I won't comment on them. You can make your own mind up. That's all.